Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast, I'll be covering the heavy mountain snow that will be dumping feet of snow across the Rocky Mountains this week, and then a severe weather outbreak with all modes of severe weather likely Thursday and Friday, especially on Friday across the deep south. And then an active weather pattern will continue through at least early April. We'll get into those details later on in this video. If you guys are not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on all of my daily weather forecast updates each and every morning at 9 a.m. on this channel. I cover southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics during tropical weather season, so hit the subscribe button down below, everyone. And don't forget to press the like button, that thumbs up button down below the video. It helps to get all of this weather information out to as many people as possible. Let's try to get to over 1,000 likes on today's video, guys. I definitely appreciate it. But going through the day today, we're watching another big weather system across the desert southwest. We got lots of snow alerts out here with winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, and we still have those lingering flood watches and warnings here across central Arizona and portions of central and southern California as well, where we do have ongoing flooding in some of those areas. Going through the noon time frame today is going to be primarily a mountain event with heavy snow in the upper elevations here of the central Rockies. So western Colorado, getting up here in toward Wyoming, much of the Salt Lake City area, especially as you go up in elevation, and then across southern Idaho here, north central portions of Nevada, and still some precipitation along the coastal areas with rain primarily across California and toward Arizona as well, toward the Phoenix region. That's at noon today, and then this again turns more to a mountainous snowfall maker across portions of Wyoming, western Colorado toward the Salt Lake City area through this evening. Then that continues to push off to the east with its energy into the upper Midwest by the time we get into 6 a.m. on Thursday. Looking at the snowfall accumulation, this is from now through Thursday morning on March 23rd. It does look like some decent snows across portions of the Rockies, especially into western Colorado near the Salt Lake City area there into northeastern Utah, and then even some more snow there into the Sierra Nevadas and California as well. Much of the central Rockies into the higher elevations will see over a foot, and even some areas potentially over 2 feet of snow going through the Thursday morning time frame. But as we march our way farther to the east, we got an interesting weather setup here toward the middle and end of this week. We got some very warm air moving in from the south. Temperatures will be warming up into the 70s, even middle 80s out here into West Texas toward the Lubbock region, on up toward Vernon and Wichita Falls. Low 80s up here into Oklahoma City and even southern portions of Kansas. But to the north of a boundary, we're going to see colder weather. So we have 20s and 30s up here into the Dakotas and western Minnesota through this afternoon for high temperatures. And you can see that boundary laying out right across the Missouri Valley and the Ohio River Valley here. That is the boundary separating the warmth to the south and the colder air and some of the snowfall to the north. And right along that boundary and just north of that, we're going to see some elevated thunderstorms later on this evening into the overnight hours. And that's why the Storm Prediction Center has actually issued a level 1 of 5, a marginal risk for severe storms in southeast Iowa, northern Missouri, central Illinois, and portions of northern Indiana. This includes the Peoria region, Champaign-Urbana, the southern side of Chicago there, north of Indianapolis, and then back here toward the Davenport Quad Cities for some large hail. This is mainly going to be for hail here overnight tonight. Again, we don't have a lot of instability built up around here, so we're not going to be seeing all modes of severe weather, just some elevated hail type of storms. So as we go through this afternoon, maybe some scattered showers, a few isolated storms across eastern Illinois, northern portions of Indiana. These likely will not be severe, but any storm that does develop here into central Indiana, taking account some of the warmer air to the south, we could still have a little bit of inflow, enough to produce some stronger winds up to around 40, 50 miles per hour. But it's really after midnight now. We're starting to see more of those widely scattered storms across these areas here into central Illinois, back into northern Missouri, portions of northern Indiana, and southeast Iowa. We have to be concerned about going into the Thursday morning commute time frame at 6 a.m. Some of these could be producing some, large hail, maybe some strong winds, but likely sub-severe type of wind gusts like 40, 50 mile per hour winds, and of course some very heavy rainfall going into Thursday morning. where it's cold enough to snow, maybe a few snow showers back here towards places like Omaha, Lincoln, Nebraska, maybe southern Wisconsin here toward the Madison region. Could be seeing some lighter snow showers. That will not likely stick, though, with the snowfall. But looking at the total rainfall accumulation from now through Thursday morning, definitely a nice stripe of about half to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall from western Pennsylvania through north central Ohio here, much of north central Indiana, central Illinois, and then back toward the Kirksville, Missouri area into northeast Missouri. That's where the heavy rainfall will likely pan out here later on today into tonight. Then as we go into Thursday, that stationary boundary will start to move a bit. We'll turn that into a cold front and move that farther south a little bit through the Ohio Valley here, where it's going to park itself for the next couple of days. And this is going to start to drop some heavy rainfall, especially when you got these temperatures to the south in the 70s and 80s, and then to the north, the 30s and 40s. Right along that boundary is where we have to be concerned about some heavy rainfall. But south of the boundary, we're watching for some more severe weather. So we have dew points rising into the 60s and even middle 60s out here. And just look at how strong that dry line will be across western Oklahoma and the panhandle of Texas later on Thursday afternoon and evening. We got the 20s and 30s for the dew points out here toward the Amarillo area. But you go farther east toward the Vernon, Texas area, Wichita Falls, or even Oklahoma City there, dew points are actually in the middle 60s. So a lot of lift with this cold front here in dry line as it pushes to the east. And the parent system starts to push farther to the east as well. We got a lot of southwesterlies in the jet stream, very strong over top of that warm air. So that is why we have the slight risk of severe storms across southeastern Oklahoma into central Texas, likely west of the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex here and then on up toward Oklahoma City later on Thursday afternoon. Then a marginal risk that extends farther north and eastward towards St. Louis there, Jefferson City, Missouri, getting in toward Carbondale there in Illinois, and Indianapolis into central Indiana by Thursday afternoon and evening. Primarily, this is going to be a large hail threat. So we still have the damaging wind probabilities down here across southeastern Oklahoma near the Red River and then down into central Texas. And we have a small 2% shading for tornadoes down near the Red River here. So Wichita Falls and then getting just to the southern side of the Oklahoma City metro area, we have to be watching out for overnight tornadoes. But the primary threat for the severe weather will be large hail, a 15% shading here in the yellow with a hatched hail risk, which means some of the hailstones could be over 2 inches in diameter. We're talking golf ball size or larger across southern, southeastern Oklahoma there toward the Red River and then getting into west central Texas. So we'll have to watch that, especially west of the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex going through Thursday night. And then, of course, we have that 5% shading farther up in toward the Illinois Valley and the Ohio River Valley going through that Thursday evening time frame. So looking at that, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, a pretty open warm sector here. We don't have a lot of storms going on, so we're going to be warming up quite nicely Thursday afternoon. Same thing Thursday evening, not a lot going on, but you start to see right along that stationary boundary some rainfall and a couple thunderstorms developing here from Ohio all the way back towards northwest Texas. Any one of these storms could be strong, but I think as we go after midnight here, we're going to start to pick up on some of the stronger storms and the heavy rainfall as well across the Ohio Valley, the Illinois Valley, and then down into the southern plains here. That continues going through 7 a.m. on Friday, and some of these storms will be moving closer toward the DFW Metroplex, southeastern Oklahoma toward Texarkana, Little Rock, Carbondale, Illinois, the foothills of Missouri, some of those areas through 7 a.m. on Friday. The heavy rainfall threat likely will set up across southeast Illinois, central Indiana, and towards central and southern Ohio through that morning commute on Friday. Then as we go into Friday, again, you see that front doesn't move too much farther to the south, kind of moving right along a lot of those same areas that we've seen heavy rainfall on Thursday. And again, we're seeing some colder air pushing south, but it's not overly cold. We still have 40s and 50s to the north of the boundary, but of course you can see where that boundary sets up, and just to the south of it, temperatures will be in the 70s and 80s, even maybe some 90s out here toward like Myrtle Beach, getting down toward Charleston, South Carolina, Jacksonville Beach, Florida, down toward Miami. A couple of these areas could be reaching near 90 as we head into Friday afternoon. And you see the open warm sector with the moist air moving up from the Gulf of Mexico. Dew points again will be in the middle, even upper 60s here across East Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi going in towards that Thursday night and Friday time frame. And that parent system, that trough, will continue to push off to the east very slowly. And again, we have strong mid-level jet here over top of some of that warm, moist air, and that's going to cause even more trouble with a strengthening low pressure system as it moves up from the southern plains to the Ohio Valley with an enhanced risk now. This is a level 3 of 5 on Friday. This is a widespread zone from Jackson, Mississippi, back toward the Baton Rouge, Monroe, Louisiana area, and across southeastern Arkansas, but a much larger area with a marginal and slight risk that extends all the way northward toward Memphis, Nashville, getting up here toward Louisville, Kentucky, getting into the Henryville region, Evansville, Indiana, Carbondale, a lot of those areas to the north. We'll start to see more of the severe weather potential into Friday evening. And we have a significant 30% hatched risk for all modes of severe weather, likely strong tornadoes, widespread destructive winds that could be over 75 miles per hour, and potentially 2-inch or larger hail going through the day on Friday, primarily across portions of central and northern Louisiana, southeastern Arkansas, to western portions of Mississippi going into that time frame. So setting it up by Friday afternoon, that cold front is pushing across portions of East Texas, southeastern Oklahoma. That's where we'll see the storms initiate first. Then we'll see a squall line start to evolve as we go into Friday evening. These storms will likely be moving quickly by Friday evening to the east with widespread damaging winds, some strong tornadoes, especially if we have some discrete supercell thunderstorms out ahead of the main line of storms. Those could be the ones that pose the greatest risk for tornadoes. Then we'll continue to see that going to the east here towards the Memphis region, Jackson, Mississippi, Baton Rouge, Monroe, Louisiana, those areas by 1 a.m. on Saturday morning, March 25th. And then as we go in towards the March 25th timeframe on Saturday, 7 a.m., we're going to see that squall line pushing across middle and eastern Tennessee. So Nashville, the Crossville here toward the Knoxville region, and then back southward toward the Birmingham, Tuscaloosa regions into Alabama as we head toward the Saturday morning timeframe. So do keep an eye to the radar all night on Friday night here and into Saturday morning for the severe weather. But it's also going to be producing some heavy rainfall. So to the north of the severe weather, right along that boundary, we're going to see our fair share of very heavy rain, and concerning for flash flooding, especially when you see these oranges and reds showing up with over the next few days from now through Saturday, March 25th, we're going to see anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of rain across southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, getting in toward the Ohio River Valley here, northern Kentucky, southern Indiana, and southern portions of Ohio here. That is the concern going forward, as we have a marginal to slight risk provided to us by the Weather Prediction Center on Thursday into Friday. This starts tomorrow and going into Friday, March 24th, and then an upgrade to a moderate risk for flash flooding here, pretty rare across this region as we head through that Friday and Saturday timeframe going into early on this weekend. So right along the Ohio River there, you might want to be careful if you have any interest in flooding, because if you live in a low-lying area, probably not the best place to be with a moderate risk for flash flooding going into this weekend. So monitor flash flood warnings, river flood warnings, anything like that here, and take caution here if you do have any flooding or rising waters in your area. But then as we go into Sunday, late this weekend, another system again across the deep south providing us with more rain, maybe some stronger thunderstorms again from East Texas through portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and portions of Georgia. That pushes east into the Carolinas, Georgia, and portions of southern Alabama on Monday to start next work week on March 27th. And then the long range comes along, and you see again the pattern will reload yet again here, much of the same that we've seen through March. Another trough will be digging in off the west coast, bringing below normal temperatures to the west and the north, and then that ridge will hang tough across the Gulf Coast states into the southeast, including Florida. And again, these above average precipitation areas will be across the west coast here, especially into central, southern California, and again, the eastern 2/3 of the country here from Texas all the way up toward Maine, and much of the areas in between across the mid-Atlantic and the southeast will be seeing a lot of precipitation towards the end of this month and in the first few days of April going through April 4th. So It's going to be active, guys. Take caution if you have any flooding concerns or severe weather. Again, have multiple ways to receive warnings over the next several days. I will likely be going live here or something like that coming up later on this week, so do stay tuned for that. Hit the notification bell so you get all of my updates on this channel. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. If you guys liked the video, press the thumbs up down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Wednesday, everybody, a great rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next video.